yours?
Hello everyone, yeah, my name's Ailis. I'm going to be playing Jet Set Radio Future. Kind of like a cult classic game. Lots of people played this game, a lot of fond memories. One of my personal favourite games ever made. And we're going to be playing Any Percent, and I'm going to be joined by amazing co-commentator, Ekla Precious.
Hello. I also run this game and like it a lot.
Yeah, it's a fantastic game. Now, just to cover a little bit about what you're seeing in front of you, we play this game on a modified loader for the game, so it's all original game files, but we're just making a few changes for like competitive fairness mostly. So the biggest thing is going to be there's an IGT timer in the top, which is going to basically avoid things like load inconsistencies, which plagues Xbox speedrunning. So you don't have to worry about getting hold of the most best optimal console, so long as you can get this modded version onto it. Sewer cache we'll talk about at some point as well. And just for the sake of keeping the run going, we're not going to be watching the DJK cutscenes. I know they're a popular part of the run for a lot of people, but we're basically going to be skipping those as well. Everything else is not important on there. So I'm ready to get started whenever we are. So are we ready to start the timer?
Looks like we're all good to go.
Cool. Well, let's get going then in 3, 2, 1, go. So right off the bat, we're playing as Yo-Yo, and we're here in the garage. This is the headquarters of a gang called the GGs, and we're kind of meeting the members of the GGs and going through a tutorial at the moment. So we've met Corn and Gum. There are other two members, and they're kind of just teaching us how to play the game. So first, Gum wants us to jump and then jump 3 times. We kind of we shove our head into that staircase because it just makes the jumps a little bit faster. And now we're learning about grinding, which is not particularly exciting. So just going to go on this rail. This rail happens to be like the perfect length to trigger this. So long as you are on the rail for the correct amount of time, you'll trigger it. Nice and easy. We're going to get introduced to the main resource in the game here as well. So we're going to have like graffiti cans. They're basically, you either use them to spray graffiti or you use them to initiate a boost with 10 of them. So wants us to pick up 10 cans, which is what we've done just there. And we're going to pick up a bunch more. Yeah, start of the run. I mean, I'm doing a lot of stuff, but it's basically just the tutorial, like with base mechanics and things like that.
Despite the fact that we already know exactly what we need to be doing in the game, since we've played it 1 or 2 times before, the tutorial is actually a really good place to talk about JSRF, because it does introduce you to all of the basic movement in the game, and this game is very movement heavy. Everything is about preservation of momentum and getting to one place from another as quickly as possible by using all the different movement tech.
Yeah, you can see the IGT going up really fast as well. This is just where one of those big cutscenes would be. As you can see, we have just skipped like 2 minutes. So that's why we don't have the cutscenes on. Imagine a 2-minute cutscene every reset. Very, very soul-destroying.
Yeah, I agree. So yeah, the timer goes up, so we're not actually saving any time, so to speak, by skipping the cutscenes, only real time. But the game is measured in-game time, so for those people who do enjoy watching the cutscenes, and I know we have one in the community,
Shout out
you
to
can
Ace
still
Bats.
run the game by watching the cutscenes. Shout out to Ace Bats.
Yeah, definitely. So it makes no difference. It's just from a reset efficiency point of view, so that it doesn't feel so brutal when you make a mistake and need to reset in the early game. Also, there you saw me.
The cutscenes.
I was going to say, there you saw me like turn around as we entered the area. That was a really bad shuffle. Basically, the camera is your greatest enemy in this game. It's going to do a lot of horrible things. I'll let Ekler explain about the camera because I'm going to concentrate for a moment.
Oh boy, yes. So there are moments in the game, particularly when you're spraying graffiti, which we'll get to see in just a moment, where the game decides what the camera does for you, and it doesn't always make the best decisions. It changes how your inputs are read by the game, so it's not very intuitive to get used to. There will be times where you'll be holding literally the opposite direction to move in the direction that you want to move, and it's one of, I think, the steepest learning curves for people going from casual play into learning to speedrun the game, is getting a mastery over this graffiti cam. You can see it here.
Yeah, that's just really screwed me up. I started spraying too early and the game was just like, okay, you are in for a horrible time now. Enjoy that. It's the way it reverses your controls. It's just horrible.
So yeah, we were talking about use of cans, and we're seeing all of it here, spraying the graffiti and also using the boost dash. That increases your speed by a lot, and you can preserve that momentum by using the shuffle. We'll see Ailis doing that a lot. And this first level of the game, Dogenzaka Hill, is a really good showcase of that kind of movement because you're always moving in this game. You never really stop, even when you're spraying graffiti, which makes it stand out quite significantly from the original Jet Set Radio.
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot more like flow to this game because like the original, obviously you have to stand in place to do graffiti, and graffiti camera didn't quite get over to that large very quickly. So the graffiti camera turning me around, already deciding that the run is more about graffiti camera than me right now. It wants to be here. Oh, and his beat, by the way, he's a jerk.
Oh, yeah.
We don't like him.
This guy's kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
Kind of the poster boy of the franchise, and yet you don't start the game with him. You have to unlock him in the first level.
Yeah, despite that, he has more presence in all of the marketing for this game than Yo-Yo does. Even though Yo-Yo is the character you start as. Also, that's a mystery tape. They're important. We haven't talked about souls yet either. Eckler, explain souls. Go for it.
Oh, souls. Okay. So you just saw Ailis pick up a mystery tape. That's going to allow us to perform certain trick combos and unlock the main collectible of the game, the graffiti souls. We're going to need a minimum of 20 to pick up over the course of the game, and some of them we'll unlock by using the mystery tapes like that. In fact, only one in any percent, I believe. And all the rest are default souls that are scattered around the level. We've already picked up all 3 of them in Dogenzaka Hill. We pretty much just run right into them in this level, and we're going to need a total of 20 of those to progress through the game.
Oh, I would like this can, please. Okay, probably wasn't actually worth the amount of effort I put into getting that can now for the time it saves, but the blue ones are worth 5, so they're kind of juicy.
That first boost could be worth it.
Yeah, it's kind of useful.
You don't want to do the old walk of shame. Yeah, so the blue cans are worth 5, and they are bountiful. They are very, very helpful to have.
So you just saw me there, like, do some air tricks, and then, like, a soul just spawned. So that's one of the mechanics, is essentially, once you've got the mystery tape, as Eckler said, you can do, like, these challenges, and that was how it, like, looks. So I did 3 air tricks, and it got me that soul. Very useful. So the soul exists, but I haven't picked it up yet. Yeah.
Unfortunately, yeah, that soul that we just unlocked, it would be here by these rails, but it doesn't appear in this instance, which is the race against Beat, which we need to do to progress through this level and also to unlock Beat.
Yeah, there's a variety of sections of the game where either souls aren't on the map, or you can't unlock them from the tape, or both. So it's kind of like, it's not so much of a problem in this category, because like this is the only tape soul that we're going to be getting, but in like the more full-on categories like 100% or NPG, that can be a big problem, basically. If you've missed an unlock at some point, it can be very difficult to find a convenient time to go back for it. Because even though you go back to the zone, the game may not support you picking it up at that point.
That's right, yeah. Fortunately, as you said, that soul unlock, the 3 air combo in Dogenzaka Hill, is the only one we have to perform in this category. Everything else is just there waiting for us in each level. Let's see how this beat race goes. Didn't place my bat. Should have placed my bat.
Oh, that's bad. Oh, well.
Oh.
Yeah.
124 is a fast beat race, though.
124 is okay, but the problem is that this cutscene. So, basically, I was trying to jump over a trigger for that little cutscene to play. It's very short, and it's just annoying if you get it. I managed to do it perfectly on the first lap through there, but the second lap can also make it happen. So, just missed my jump, and I needed the angle off of that staircase, so I didn't quite get it. It's unfortunate.
This game is full of tiny little time saves like that. Just being able to jump over the trigger zone for that cutscene saves you a couple seconds. And the game is absolutely full of those tiny little things.
Yeah, definitely. And now the police are here.
Oh yeah, they show up.
The private police. The ones who are scared of paint.
The story of this game is similar to the original Jet Set Radio, if you're familiar with it. Freedom of expression is outlawed. There's a big corporation who's trying to, put their sway over the city and take out the people spraying graffiti and such. As such, they deploy their private police and also their buses.
Their buses, yeah. The real threat.
They deploy the private police, but also the buses are much more dangerous than the police, I think.
And we didn't soft lock. Let's go.
Oh, that's good, yeah. There's a random, I believe it's a frame-perfect soft lock that can occur going into this load zone.
You could just frame-perfect, lock yourself out of the game right there. Literally, you get stuck with a bit of DJK's dialogue on screen, and then when you reach the end of Shibuya Terminal, which is where we are now, the game crashes. So...
Yeah, it doesn't crash immediately. It waits until you've completed the next level to do so.
Yeah, I mean, also, in theory, if it happened in this, I could save the game and restart it, right? And it would be fine, but... I like the danger.
it's really upsetting when you have a good first 10 minutes of the run and then the game decides you're not allowed to progress any further.
Missed that spray. Got a bit too aggressive with my quick turn there. And there as well. Oof.
Oh, that's a point.
This is just
Quick turns are another
manipulation
piece of
to not
movement.
be anywhere near the bus that comes around this corner.
We don't really have RNG manipulation in this game, but if we did, this would be the closest we get.
I want these cans.
But yeah, quick turns are a point, actually. Another piece of movement in the game. Not really intended, but if you turn, I believe, only to the left, and you kind of cancel your turn a little bit, you'll turn much quicker and preserve your momentum. And again, it's just another one of those tiny little bits of movement in the game that speeds things up. And one of the reasons I really like this game is because you get so much further and so much faster by mastering the movement rather than performing any major skips and glitches.
Yeah, I've made a few little errors here and there in this stage so far. Not the smoothest, but could be worse. Not big mistakes, at least. But it does all add
traffic
up.
cycles are the main enemy of Shibuya Terminal.
Oh. Again, like, you know, just not getting a quick turn there. Oof.
Yeah, so Shibuya Terminal, second level of the game, you can see it's very different to Dogenzaka Hill. This is a much more open plan area, and though we do have one prescribed route through it, you can go through this area in pretty much any order you like, as opposed to Dogenzaka, where it's a one-way street, quite literally. Once you get to a certain point, you can't turn around.
Yeah, classic bingo map. Do you go to
Let's not
Dogen?
talk about that. I missed those two L's. Bringing back bad memories.
I'm sorry, Ekla. I'd actually forgotten about that. I didn't realize I was specifically calling you out. I'm sorry.
But yeah, there are two kind of overarching designs for maps and areas in the game. And you do have the loops, and then you have the more open plan areas. And the game kind of alternates between them, particularly in the any % run. So we'll be heading back to more loop-based areas to follow, and then we'll get another open plan at the end of Chapter 2. And I like that as a routing challenge in speedruns, especially because when you're going in a straight line around a level that's just a loop, it's relatively easy to figure out exactly where you're going. In the open plan levels, routing gets a lot more interesting.
Yeah, for sure. The base, like, kind of fundamental kind of flow of a level is meant to be like you get graffiti, then you encounter some NPCs of some description, whether it's a new character or whatever, and then like you do their challenge and then it's over, right? But we're going to actually be breaking that a fair bit in some of the levels.
Yeah, we stuck to it for Chapter 1. We saw that with Beat
I don't get
in
cans, so that's fine.
Dogenzaka. And we see this now with Poison Jam, who are our first real antagonists of the game. They've been spraying some graffiti over here, and we've been told to go cover it up. So there's a bit of turf warfare kind of going on right now.
Yeah, I like Poison Jam. I think they're cool. Here's like
I never liked them as a kid when I played casually. I was scared of them.
Oh, hi Claire. I think they're cool. They're just, you know, fish guys. Fish boys.
Just little beast dudes.
Little beast dudes. Shout outs to Little Beast Dudes %.
Oh, nice. You got that little quick piece of movement there.
Yeah.
So in the tutorial, I suppose you can consider it a tutorial, when Poison Jam are moving around the level and you're told to chase them, they take some relatively inefficient routes. And you can see that Ailis decided to make a much more direct path towards them with some little fancy jumps here and there.
Also, shout outs to random bit of trivia for that little cutscene we just saw with Poison Jam like moving around. Oh, why did I go really slowly there? That's weird. I shouldn't go for this soul if this happens, but I'm gonna do it anyway. Okay, never mind. Yo-Yo has really high rail magnetism. Like, that's one of like the stats. Like,
yeah, not many stats in this game matter.
You know what? We're gonna get a different backup. It's fine. We'll get a different backup. That's annoying. I don't know. I think I must have just held like the wrong direction at the wrong time and just didn't go full speed. So I got a short jump instead of a trick jump. And then I just fell off. But I wanted that soul, but it's fine. There's a backup. There's a very easy backup in Shuo. We're going to go get it.
Again, another kind of tiny bit of movement optimization that happens throughout the course of the run is managing your speed when you're jumping. Because if you jump when you have a 200 speed or higher, you perform a trick jump, which slows you down a lot. And there are sometimes you want to do it because it prevents you from taking full damage, and there are sometimes where you don't because you want to go faster.
Yeah. Speaking of movement challenges that we don't do the way that we were shown to do, this is Combo's one. As you can see, I did something very different there to what Combo wanted to do.
Yeah, and Combo owns this area. He's in charge of Shibuya Terminal, and he didn't appreciate Poison Jam showing up, and he thought that we were the ones spraying the nasty graffiti, but actually it was Poison Jam. And he's like, it's okay, it's cool. We're friends now.
Yeah, he's in our gang now. But look at that dancing.
Yeah, and just like any good friend would do, the police are about to show off, so he's going to run off, and we're not going to see
And
him
leave
again.
us to fight the police. Yeah.
And we're going to have to fight the police, and we're going to be introduced to another major character in the game.
Oh, yes. One of my favorites.
Yeah, actually, I do like him a lot. There he is. Captain Hayashi.
Everyone loves him. Some say he forgot to have breakfast this morning.
I mean, wouldn't you be a bit grumpy too if you didn't have your breakfast?
That's the one thing I missed from English in this, is like him saying that he forgot to have breakfast,
Hayashi
and just
dialogue
the way he sounds so disappointed.
So we do run the game on Japanese because there are a few cutscenes that we can't skip that are faster in Japanese. The main difference between the cutscenes we skip and the ones that we don't are the ones that affect gameplay. So we skip the DJK cutscenes because they are at the start of each chapter and they have no effect on gameplay. But there are other cutscenes, like small tiny ones, where things like traffic cycles actually keep going, and skipping those does actually affect the flow of the level and gameplay. So we can't skip those. That's what we decided on as a community. But for the ones that we can't skip, Japanese is generally quicker, so we play on Japanese, which unfortunately means we do miss out on some of the really good Hayashi dialogue.
Yeah. My favorite one's in RDH. He goes like, "Oh, I forgot to have breakfast this morning," and then just goes, "Oh well." Oh, bad movement. Too busy
Oku
channeling
Bus is at it again.
channeling the depression of Hayashi with his breakfast. To
So just like that, we're
concentrate on
actually
the run.
we're into chapter 2 now.
Yeah, I'm still not entirely sure where the game decides a chapter starts and begins, to be honest. I just run the game. Like, I know what chapter 4 is because it's the worst one. Other than that, complete mystery to me.
So chapter 2 opens up, and as a casual player, you can go to one of 3 areas, but your progress is pretty much gated in some of the other areas until you complete this area. So we have to go to Chuo Street first, which is just off Shibuya Terminal, and this is another kind of loop level. And breaking up the formula a little bit here in chapter 2, we're actually going to have the police encounter us at the beginning of the level, so they did switch things up a little bit. But before they appear, we're going to try and get some graffiti done. Nice.
Yeah, so what we're trying to do
Saves
here,
some
is basically spray that graffiti before the cops finishes speaking. Usually when you enter a zone, if there's going to be a cop fight trigger that spawns in, then the cops will talk first, and then it will spawn in. So that graffiti was inside the trigger zone for these tanks. So by spraying that now, it means I don't have to go up to that little ledge again later. So by getting it done now, it just saves a bit of time later on.
Yeah, so a little bit of a timed event there, so to speak, just by getting it done before the police show up. And they brought in the tanks,
Yeah, tanks are arguably less threatening than the foot soldiers.
hilariously. We are so desensitized to the escalation in this game since we play it so much, but yeah, we're 20 minutes into the game and they've decided to bring in the tanks to deal with some youths on skates. It only gets crazier from here. Fortunately, the tanks are vulnerable to spray paint.
Yeah, absolutely. As are the people inside the tanks.
I mean, I feel
Very
like if you
convenient.
sprayed someone in the face with spray paint, that would be quite effective.
Yeah, it's true. But we're spraying their uniforms. Like, you can see it all over them.
I guess they're just fashion disasters then.
Yeah, we
Can't be
just
seen in
decided
public. They just disintegrate.
that work uniform with that helmet.
Alright, so that's the tanks done. Guess who's back?
Yeah, this time we actually have to fight him. So in that first cop fight that he took part in, we didn't have to fight him, we just had to fight everything else. In this one, we have to fight Hayashi. Oh, that was interesting. I got stuck on the truck. But that rhymed, so that was kind of cool.
Yeah, so there are quite a few Hayashi fights in the game, and I don't believe we really have to
whoops.
actually fight him legitimately until chapter 4,
Yeet.
because you can just yeet. You're supposed to knock him down and spray him down like every other NPC enemy in the game.
Okay, I
But
need
when
this
he's standing on a
soul
platform-
because I need canals for my backup, so I need this soul, which is annoying because normally if I miss this one, my backup would be for this, but that should be okay. There we go. A little bit slow, but it's fine.
Yeah, fortunately, most of the movement in this game isn't too punishing. If you make a small mistake, you can just try again. There are, however, some points of the game where a single mistake can cost you a lot of time. Fortunately, the first few chapters of the game aren't quite so bad. So same old, spraying some more graffiti here in Chuo Street, covering up Poison Jam's graffiti for whatever reason. Honestly, they seem pretty cool, but I guess we decided that they're the enemies, so
Yeah.
we're gonna cover the graffiti.
Well, they stole our statue, right? That's why. They stole the goddess of the streets.
They stole the goddess of the streets, yeah.
Which is my channel point reward on my Twitch stream, because
Yeah,
the
I
joke
was
is
gonna
that we
say.
save the goddess of the streets so much by doing these runs that we must have tons of them lying around.
Yeah, the story of this game is functional, a little disjointed at times, and also because we skip half of the cutscenes in the game, most speedrunners kind of forget exactly what's going on. It's not particularly easy to follow. We just go and spray graffiti and beat the police and collect graffiti souls.
Yeah, basically. Like, everyone else has got like this bizarre turf war going on, and we just kind of rock up and do our thing and then leave.
Everything falls into place.
Like, they do present like a lot of lore in the mini cutscenes. It's like, oh, this gang hates this gang, and this gang's doing this to this gang, and it's like, we are spraying graffiti and getting funny alien head things, and that's all we do.
Yeah, but fortunately, the flow of this game, particularly in the speedrun, feels so good that we don't have to pay too much attention to the story.
Yeah, definitely.
I often say that it feels like JSRF was meant to be speedrun, because going from playing it casually and not being the most thrilled with the movement and not being very good at the game also, once I learned to speedrun the game and I got decent at it, being able to go through these levels so quickly in one fluid motion feels great.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. So this is going to wrap up Chuo Street. If there's any donations or anything, you can probably get like 1 or 2 in before we get to RDH. There's not going to be much to do between now and then.
Yeah, we have a couple of donations. The first one, the name's a bit long, so it's cutting off. So I'm going to try and finish it off. We've got $20 from Heidi Sparkle.
Okay, that's my girlfriend.
They say, let's go, Alice, the mashed potato queen. And they left a little heart there for you.
Why?
And we have...
She knows I don't like mashed potato.
Mashed potato's the best.
I'm not
We have
keen, but she knows this.
We also have $5 here from Shu, which brings us up to $4,700 to save Crunchy's job and the kids too, of course. Let's save the babies. Just quickly, we're also about we're less than $100 away from Sonic 3 and Knuckles All Emeralds glitchless upgrade.
Well, let's go. Let's get that. Because the start of the run's easier, so I would rather do that one. Get the money in. No, I'm kidding. They're both very hard runs. Yeah, RDH. We're here now.
RDH. Yeah, this is the next level in the game. You'll notice that Poison Jam showed up in Chuo Street, and we ignored them completely. That will be explained momentarily. You're supposed to race Poison Jam similar to how we raced Beat and Dogenzaka Hill, but we can skip that entirely and head here to Rokokudai Heights to progress through this level in a way that is not developer intended. So this is the notorious breakfast line from Hayashi, which unfortunately we don't get to hear in all of its glory from the English voiceover.
He just wanted to have his breakfast.
And DJK is telling us now, hey, you should go and deal with Poison Jam in Chuo Street. But we have a way to magically teleport them over here.
We're just like, respectfully, no. No, we will not do that.
So if you visited RDH first, this is all you could do in the level. You would only be able to spray those 16 tags of graffiti before you would be forced to leave, because you cannot get through that train station. There is a big blockade that stops you. However...
Ooh, it was a bit shaky. Oh, we got there. Good.
It's good. This is what we call rip skip. I would say this is the first major glitch or exploit in the run. It's quite simply going out of bounds to hit a death warp, which takes us beyond that train station, and we can now progress through the rest of Rokokudai Heights before the game wants us to do so.
Yeah, very fortunately, by finishing the graffiti in RDH, the game just kind of assumes that you fought Poison Jam and opened the train station. So even though we had to do that skip to get in here, we don't have to do it to get out, or like any kind of skip to get out. We can just walk out as normal, and when we come, if we ever had to come back here for any reason, like you might do in 100% category, for example, then you can just go straight through. You don't need to do any rip skip anymore.
Yeah, and at this point in the game, Rokokudai Heights starts throwing lots of battles with the police against you, and it kind of like I said, it desensitizes you a little bit because the first few cop fights were a really big deal, and then they just start appearing all over the place after some time.
Yeah, although we do skip 2 of them in this this map.
Yeah, RDH is full of really the first major skips, it feels, of the game. We skip a lot of the fights with the police, and we skip the intended progression through the level as well. Normally, you would have to beat Chuo Street Poison Jam race, and then come here and constantly talk to Poison Jam as you kind of chase them through the level. Here comes another major skip.
There we go. And then concentrate for this bit, because it scares me. There we go. Okay, we're fine. So we are right on the edge of a cop fight trigger zone. Right there. If I go any further towards that spray, we're going to be doing one of the biggest cop fights in the game that takes a long time. And really lags the Xbox as well, so...
So, being able to skip that cop fight saves probably upwards of 30 seconds.
Probably more than that, to be honest. On EMU, maybe 30 seconds. I think on console, with the lag, it's closer to a minute.
With the slowdown.
Like, yeah. There's a lot of slowdown.
The slowdown is accounted for in our in-game timer because it counts frames.
Yeah.
But RTA, it takes a lot longer to get through that fight.
Yeah. And it feels bad. It feels nasty.
It feels awful. So, managing to skip everything we need to skip in Rokokudai Heights. We're actually just wrapping up this level now, picking up another graffiti soul on top of this building.
There's one spray left that's like, it's on... Oh, let me just pick this up. There's one spray left. It's on the edge of another cop fight trigger, but this cop fight is only 3 cops, so if I mess this one up, then it's really fast, but that's fine. There we go. Got there. Easy.
Yeah, that one's down. So that Rokokudai Heights finished quite promptly.
Also, we have to jump here because there's a cutscene trigger there that tells you to go fight Poison Jam to open the train station, and that stays there. So we have to jump over it to skip that.
Yeah, it's very strange how all of the progress markers are removed except for that one.
Yeah.
So it's like a one-line cutscene. It doesn't take too long to get through, but it's just another tiny little bit of time loss that you can avoid. So now we get to head... Rokokudai Heights was my second favorite level of the game. We now get to head to my first favorite level of the game, 99th Street.
99th's cool.
I think this is one that a lot of people will associate with this game from memory. Visually, it's very striking and very iconic.
Yeah.
And in terms of moving around it in a speedrun, it is probably more full of those tiny optimizations I've been talking about than many other levels in the game.
Alright, my people, it's time to give 99th Street a new paint job.
Oh, just psyching myself up for Quick Light because although it's not that difficult and I'm very used to doing it, if it goes wrong, it's very, very annoying. So,
yeah, fortunately, as far as skips go in this game, this is another one that you don't lose too terribly much time for. You can reattempt it depending on how you fail it, or you can just do the intended route instead. It's not a run killer.
but we got it.
But yeah, they forgot to put a wall there. So we're able to move immediately into the light side of 99th Street, which is split into 3 major areas. And as soon as we do that, we'll have another fight with the police.
Yeah, so this is the Searchlight Fight, which is an odd one. Also Goomba Stomp, maybe? Oh, we went the wrong way. That's unfortunate. If you can jump off of that and go over this direction instead, then it's just a bit faster than having to go down the bottom and you don't have to use cans. Oh, this is fine, actually, cans. I didn't need to go back and get all of those. I just wish I'd gone faster on that rail. So you beat them by just spraying the top, so you can grind up them. Quite conveniently, they build them out of grind rails, so you can just grind on up. Also,
This,
let's
of all
get
the cop fights, probably makes the
reverse.
most sense, because
Yeah.
you're disabling the searchlights by spraying paint over them. That kind of makes sense as far as JSRF goes.
Yeah, it's very true. It's probably the most sensible thing, right? Out of everything that happens in this game towards the end.
Yeah, especially towards the end. So now we have a lot of graffiti ahead of us here in 99th Street. I believe this is the densest area for graffiti so far in the game, just ahead of Rokokudai Heights by a couple of sprays, but it's a much larger area, and it's more open plan than Rokokudai Heights, which seems open plan, but it's pretty much a straight line, actually. 99th Street, you have a lot of different options of where you want to go at any given point, so again, routing it is impressive, actually, to get the most optimal route through such a large open area. Plenty of cans handed out here so we can keep on boosting and shuffling to preserve our momentum.
Yeah.
Speed up.
I don't think I needed those 2 blues, but I wanted to play it safe and make sure that I had tip-top cans for this section. But I think I could have gotten away with just one of those blue cans.
Yeah, so we've completed the light side of 99th Street. We've headed now back to the central area and the Dragon Tower, which, like I said, is quite an iconic centerpiece. No yo-yo meta? Shame.
No yo-yo meta, I'm sorry.
So we
I'm
do a
not
character
brave.
switch here. It respawns or restarts the dialogue with the police, and basically police fights cannot spawn until that dialogue is finished. But if you come up to the dragon here, DJK interrupts that dialogue to say, this is how you return to the garage. That dialogue never finishes, and so the second cop fight in the area just never spawns.
Yeah, and that we couldn't do that sooner because it only spawns that DJK cutscene once you've done one of the cop fights. So that's why we don't do it like sooner to skip both cops.
Yeah, so we managed to save some time by skipping the dark side cops, which is where we're heading off to now. Kind of the mirror and opposite of the light side. DJK mentioned in the cutscene that there's been a mysterious blackout in 99th Street, but only this particular section of it.
Yeah, just this bit. And I don't think it's ever mentioned again. Like, I don't think we ever find out why there's a mysterious blackout.
Yeah, it's just
we just
one of
have to
those
accept that there is
mysterious
one.
happenings. This is one of my favorite pieces of movement in the game here. It's good.
Yeah, it looks really cool.
Again, that's, one of the things I love about speedrunning this game is being able to pull off moves like that.
Oh,
It just feels
okay.
so good with JSRF's movement system.
And then you grab onto a rail that you didn't want and you just feel sad.
Yeah. Highs and lows in this game.
We're going to be done with this bit real soon, but then we meet a lot of people's favorite character. Hatsune
Yeah, we
Miku
got a lot.
herself.
We had a lot of really interesting ideas that they explored with the first few areas of the game. So we saw racing characters, we saw lots of different types of fights with the police, the tanks, the searchlights, and Hayashi. We've seen a few different characters doing their own little tutorials, and now we get to see another new mechanic as we'll get to encounter Rapid 99.
Here they are.
Guess it just takes a little persuasion.
One thing I love about the gangs is just like the fact that as a kid and like largely as an adult as well, I've never once like doubted or wondered about the fact that all the gangs are identical. Like all 3
Yeah, I
members
never
of each
considered it
gang is like
much.
they look exactly the same. Not even just the same clothes, they are all the same person. Like
It's the future, they've mastered cloning.
so yeah, flag battle. We're gonna do quick flag. It's a cool strat.
Yeah, so the flag battle is effectively 5 rounds of capture the flag without the returning part. I don't know, there's probably a better analogy, but basically there are 5 flags that spawn sequentially, one by one by one by one by one. You need to pick up 3 of them to win the flag battle. You are outnumbered because there are 3 members of Rapid 99, but fortunately they all go to the same place.
Yeah,
So
they're not
we're
very
just gonna
smart.
preempt them. They're going to go to the first flag, we're going to go to where the second flag spawns, because it's always the same, and that will pick up number 2. Now Ailis is going to try to be speedy with her movement and get quick flag, where we can basically manipulate their AI into going to pick up the 3rd flag, so that we can pick up... No, they pick up the 4th flag. We pick up
Yeah.
the 2nd flag, the 3rd flag, and the 5th flag.
Yeah.
If we're quick enough by getting to this flag, they will go for the 4th flag immediately.
And if they don't, you have
start
to drop
the
down and
way.
get the 4th one. It's not too bad. There we go. That's perfect.
Yeah, that's quick flag. So that saves a couple of seconds on the regular strat.
If you're not quick enough, the Rapid 99 AI actually gets confused and gets stuck, and they will never pick up the 4th flag, which is
Yeah,
really
you end up
stupid.
having to pick 4 flags up, which is a lot slower. And that does it for Chapter 2. We move
Okay.
on to Notorious Chapter 3.
Big excitement time.
So up until this point, we've been playing the game mostly as intended. There have been no really major game-breaking glitches. We managed to skip a couple of sequences here and there and get to places that we may not have been allowed to go to. Things start to change here as we move into Chapter 3, because Chapter 3 is pretty much just localized in one area of the game, which is the sewage facility, which is where we're heading off to now, because that's where Poison Jam are. We need to get our statue back.
Now remember, the sewers
Stay
are Poison
hydrated.
Jam's home
Sorry,
turf.
just having a glass of water.
Yep, very
parched.
important.
Strangers up in that house, you know what I'm
Just
saying?
don't drink the water in the sewers.
Yeah, do not. That's why I brought my own.
Okay, so time for the hardest trick in the run.
potentially, if I get it. If not, then it's still the hardest trick in the run, but not really. That was
So
never going to be
this
it.
is what we call Cucumber, for a long list of reasons that I can't bother to explain right now. It's effectively a clip through the wall here, this half pipe, that takes us to the death.
Oh, I got it,
zone.
but I don't
there it
think
is.
I'm fast enough. I think I'm gonna have to do the cutscene. Get
Let's
in there,
see.
get in. No, so
No.
close.
So that's kind of the forgotten part of Cucumber. But to basically explain the trick, we want to clip through that half pipe. It takes us out of the map and death warps us. And since there's no way to actually death warp before this part of the game or before this part of the level, they just put you in the middle of the level.
So now we can't go into bottom point. So that like map area was where we were supposed to be going, but we can't go there now. Oh wait, I have to jump. That's right.
So coming into this level, Garam stops you, traps you in this pit, and you're supposed to do his tutorial before he lets you proceed. Then we have to perform a trick sewer skip, which is different entirely. Normally in a non-cucumber run. But the cucumber, by getting that out of bounds clip and death warping into the middle of the level, we can just immediately proceed to the next level of the game. If you don't perform either cucumber or sewer skip, you have to complete the Garam tutorial, and then after that, you have to do the whole of the sewers level, because completing the Garam tutorial and unlocking him as a character stops you from being able to progress to the next level. But if you just cucumber, the gate never spawns, so you can just proceed and skip the entirety of sewers.
Yeah, I was so close to getting to the bottom point then. That would have been sick.
So yeah, we actually saw Ailis perform the out-of-bounds cucumber. Unfortunately, she was just too slow to avoid the Garam tutorial, so she had to complete that first. But this is still much quicker than doing sewers.
Yeah, definitely. Cucumbers become like a very brutal. I could have boosted, I think. Become like a very brutal part of some other categories as well, because for 100% categories, it's very important now.
Yeah, the time it saves, even on doing regular sewer skip, which is pretty much just a jump over the load zone, it saves about a minute, I think.
Oh, it still worked. That was a bit late, but we got there.
So yeah, the game gets a little crazy from here on out, as you can see. Like, we started off with, oh, here's an out of bounds, here's where they forgot to put a wall, and then suddenly everything starts coming at you hard and fast at this stage of the game.
Yeah, so that one, we call that Sexy Fish. I don't know why, but we do. Well, there's the statue. That's what we're after.
Goddess of the streets.
You'll notice
This is
that the
the
game has a
boss.
lot longer to go, even though we're getting the statue now.
It's like there may be other plot points, perhaps.
Yeah. Oh, this fight's horrible.
So another new mechanic that they introduce is the Taggers Tags fights, which I believe were also in the original Jet Set Radio. You basically just need to spray down the health bars of your opponents. There are 3 of them. They won't really try to attack you unless you're directly in front of them, so you just have to play chase, really. Unfortunately, about Poison Jam, they have a lot of what we call graffiti stamina, which is their health bar for being sprayed, which is separate to their actual health bar. Which means they take 30 full spray
he fell
cans.
off. No way. I've never seen this guy fall off
30 full
before.
spray cans to defeat.
Where is he?
And
He's down here. And now he's going up here.
now that you have bonked him, I believe that's the lead PJ. So he'll probably head into the...
Yeah. He'll go down to
Yeah.
3rd now. Oh, this is just slow, but that's fine. I can live with this.
Fortunately,
He should
this
just jump
isn't-
off this rail any minute now.
yeah, this isn't a run killer, it just slows things down.
Yeah.
If you are able
There
to
he
not
is.
bonk
He's very confused now.
the PJ, you can spray him down completely
Oh, I missed a
before he
spray
gets to this
though.
room.
Where's he going?
Oh, he is entirely confused. The AI in this game is...
He's walking up the stairs. What?
It's sensitive, I think is the best way to describe it.
Okay, now he's stuck over here. Okay, I think he's not moving now. Well, this is
Yeah.
quite something. I have
You
never
can,
had a
you
PJ
can
mess up
confirm-
like this before.
It's happened to me far too many times, but I'm not as good at this game as you are. Yeah, if you bonk an AI, they will just try and continue on their path, but they'll not really respond to the terrain that's in front of them, I suppose is the best way to put it. So they just get stuck and confused, and it can very much slow things down, unfortunately, in what is a very sensitive fight in the Poison Jam fight, since you're grinding on all those rails, and if you knock them down, they fall down the rails, and they end up at part of the level they're not supposed to be, and things just... they go horribly wrong. Fortunately, doesn't kill the run.
Yeah, this is a very solid run up until that. It was all going very smoothly.
Yeah, things get a little a little more time lossy as the game goes on. The first few levels of the game, you can make minor mistakes and it's not too bad, but as the game goes on, it gets more and more punishing.
Speaking of punishing,
Oh boy.
guess where we're
So
going?
upon defeating Poison Jam, it turns out that wasn't the whole game, and we've not resolved the plot. Yo-Yo has now gone missing, and we can't actually play as him. So we now need to play as Gum, which we were going to do anyway, but we need to get our boy back. So we need to chase down some information, meet some new gangs, and head to some new areas, the first of which being Hikage Street.
Just the other day,
Yeah, Hikage is it's something. It's a thing.
I think this is probably the generally accepted least favorite level in the game.
Yeah, I don't think I've heard
the
anyone
speedrunning
say that they
community.
like this.
I think Yomsa likes it, but he has world record, so he's allowed to.
Yomsa can like what Yomsa likes, that's fine.
Yeah, so this is a notorious level because of pretty much exactly what we were talking about, it being very punishing. It's a very vertical level, which Sewers is also, but we can skip Sewers entirely. Hikage is very vertical and not skippable, which means if you get up high and you fall down, you're going to lose a lot of time. There we go, nice quick climb though.
I do a slightly more consistent strat here. There's one where you can get some sprays before that finishes, but my problem with that is that the getting on top of this thing, which is called the Terror Drone, to spray it is significantly harder from that strat, so I just prefer this one. It only loses a few seconds.
Yeah, I go for the faster strat here and I can get it relatively consistently, but it leaves me in a position where my setup for the Terror Drone is slower, so it basically breaks even.
Yeah, like the fast setup from the other route is so hard. Because I can do the I can do the first part of the other route, but the Terror Drone mount is difficult.
There's a lot of places where you can mess up, particularly in this part of Hikage Street. If you were to fall off here, you would have to climb all the way back up, and it would take forever. Even with our quicker climbing strats, it just doesn't feel great, especially as this fight slows down the Xbox as well.
Yeah, a lot.
Also, emulator advantage is it doesn't lag in this area on the emulator. We've only just really started allowing emulator runs in the last 6 months, slightly longer than that. They're fundamentally the same, but we do have the boards separated on speedrun.com, mainly because they just feel like different environments, because, and console runners can attest to this when they've played on emulator, playing this game with the modern conveniences of having 60 FPS all the time is a very different experience to playing this game on an Xbox where it slows down in certain parts of the game.
Yeah, it's just like the slowdown is like not consistent a lot of the time, so like it's hard to, because you know in like if the game ran at a consistent slower speed and we were using IGT, it would almost be an advantage, right? Because it would just be like more time to execute your movements. But in reality, it's very inconsistent. So
Yeah.
you think you need to do an input at a certain time, and the game just happens to lag in a weird way that you weren't expecting, and then suddenly you're having to deal with that instead, and it just throws you off sometimes.
Yeah, we talked about how graffiti camera is something that you have to kind of master. You also kind of have to get used to the lag of playing on an Xbox as well when you're running this game.
Ooh. Oh, close.
It's good.
I'm going to hit the stairs here, though. Yeah, that's fine. I just won't shuffle down here. Those cans are all 2 cans, by the way. They're all, like, in a pile of 2 cans each. It's weird.
Yeah,
You
they're
just get 20
stacked up
cans
on
there.
each other. Just kind of an oversight, but an oversight that we can take advantage of.
And then don't spray
Yeah,
this.
so with Terror Drone down, that's kind of the scary part of Hikage Street out of the way, but we do have more fights with the police, and strangely enough, the worst part I would say about these police fights is making sure you leave them with enough cans, because the police in the black suits require you to boost into them before you can spray them, which consumes 10 cans. So if you're inefficient with that, you'll be burning through a bunch of cans trying to knock them down. And
No
if
way
you're
that
not
was gonna
fast
happen.
enough to pick up the cans that they drop before the cop fight ends, you might end up with less than 30 cans leaving the fight. And in Hikage Street, that's unenjoyable because there's a lot of graffiti and not too many cans.
I'm messing up, like, the climb here, but this is fine. Like, so long as I get up there, it's okay.
Yeah,
There's a really
Hikage
difficult
Street
strat
is-
here, like, that I failed.
Hikage Street is one of those areas where there is a lot of room for optimized movement, similar to 99th Street. Unlike 99th Street, it is more punishing if you make mistakes. But you've seen us climb these staircases much quicker than the intended or perhaps the casual way of doing so, which would be to grind the rails, which would take 10 times longer. But with a few well-placed jumps, we can skip most of the climb, and even more of the climb with some even more precise jumps.
Oh, wrong way.
So that's 2 halves. 2 halves, that's incorrect. That is 2/3 of Hikage Street complete, and we're heading off to the final section now, the right side of the map. Time for the only contribution that I've ever provided to this game.
What's that? Do tell us, Eckler.
Well, I don't even know if I can, because you're not going to do it, because you don't know what it is.
Oh, that's true. But you can tell us anyway. I'd like to know.
So my single contribution to this game, and it's not even fully mine, was to ever so slightly reroute this section of the game. And it involves a fancy little jump off of this crane. As you grab the graffiti soul, you can jump off to the left and land on this platform slightly quicker. And if you have enough cans, you can slightly reroute this little section of graffiti
I like
here. And it's nice. It's relatively precise, but it's my single contribution to this game, and I will die on this hill. It's called Lemon.
Oh, this is Lemon. You keep
This
talking
is
about
Lemon.
Lemon. I didn't know what it was. Oh, now I know.
And then
Shout out
you might
to
have
Lemon,
noticed
best
since
trick.
we've talked about cucumber now and
Oh.
lemon. Ooh,
What vegetable's
fine.
that?
That's spinach, I would say, because it's not a vegetable that I like to see.
Okay, well, we're back up. It's fine, it's fine. Not too much of a
Fortunately, we do
mistake.
have the crane here to get back up quicker. But yeah, we have a lot of food-related names for tricks in JSRF, much to the lament of certain members of our community.
Hey, I like them. Okay.
I'm a big fan. I think you should also do carrot in this run.
I don't even know what that one is. What is carrot?
Nobody knows what it is because it's completely useless.
Good.
It is a bunch of frame-perfect jumps, and it doesn't really save any time.
Well, it sounds like the perfect trick. I
It's
like
really
it.
stylish.
Well,
But
one
that's
more thing to
the,
get in Hokage. One more thing.
Yeah, it's the graffiti of Hikage Street done, but one more thing to pick up. That's our third to last graffiti soul, I believe. No, there might be one in Kibo.
There's 2 in Kibo.
There's 2 in Kibo. See, if
Oh,
you've seen my
stuck
80%
on the rail and then the
PB,
car hit me. Should be
oh
your
no.
feels.
the traffic is back again. Yeah, if you've seen my any percent PB, you'll know that I don't exactly subscribe to the conventional methods of collecting souls throughout this game. But that's because I'm not very good at this game.
It's entirely possible I get too many as well. It's entirely possible that my stupid 100% runner brain is like, oh well, I should get everything. Like, it's all here. I should pick it up. I don't want to think
Yeah.
about what I need. I just want to get everything.
Any percent is kind of the premier category in this game. It's the one that is run by the most people, especially. But Ailis is a big fan of running the more complete categories, 100% and 100% no post-game, as well as GG%.
Yeah. Get
which are
all of
longer
something.
categories.
Tends to be
where
my
you
thing in this
collect
game.
all of things. Yeah. And I think it kind of gives more of a full-bodied experience of what JSRF is as a game. Any percent is a really good display of what the movement is like, but it does feel a little strange to me that we go throughout this entire game and only unlock one soul, and we don't unlock any optional characters. In fact, we skip a character unlock that we're supposed to not be able to skip, which is Garam in Sewers.
Yeah. Although you can get him in any percent if you do Cucumber. You can get him and then
Yeah.
go back and do Cucumber and skip Sewers.
Tell me about that, Ailis.
Oh,
Tell me
yeah.
about how you've done that twice in a row.
Yeah, my current PB included. Garam is the new meta.
So welcome to Kibagaoka Hill, home of one of the other hardest tricks in the game, known as Heli Skip.
And I'm not going to do it.
Yeah, we're not going to see that here. It's very difficult. It's the ability to skip the entire cop encounter here. Kibagaoka Hill is another
That was
really big
interesting.
loop. Fortunately, you did what you needed to do.
Yeah, it's fine. Like, that doesn't lose me any time. Well, it loses me a little bit of time against the Helis, I guess, but...
Yeah, so Kibagaoka Hill is a huge loop of a level. And as you can see, they start the cop fight here right at the beginning with these 2 helicopters. What they don't tell you is there are another 2 helicopters at the opposite end of the level, And much like Dogenzaka Hill and Chuo Street, other loop levels in the game, you can only go one way around this level. So effectively, the intended thing for you to do is to do an entire loop of this level, defeating the helicopters the first time, then do another entire loop of this level to spray all the graffiti. Heli skip allows us to skip the helis and therefore only have to do one lap of the level.
Ah, damn it.
Ooh, close.
I'm going to try one more time, and if I don't get it, I'm just going to carry on.
Fortunately, we have plenty of ways of getting around Kibagawa Hill in a slightly more expedient manner, and this is one of them. The as yet unnamed Kibagawa Hill school launch.
Yeah. We failed it, it's fine.
So there's a lot that goes into explaining how that trick works. So I'm not going to. I'm just going to explain the general flow of Kibagawa Hill, which is if you can skip the helis, you only have to do one lap. If you don't skip the helis, we have a reverse Kibagawa Hill route, which is equivalent to one lap, but you go halfway around and then back.
Yeah, so I'm doing reverse Kibo, basically. That's like my preferred strat. And what I was going for there would have put me... If I did it first try, it would have put me over in this tunnel.
Yeah, so a quick and dirty explanation of how that works. In this game, if you jump onto a rail and then jump off of the rail on the same frame, you break the speed cap and gain a bunch of speed. If, in certain situations, you can hit the end of a rail and there's a wall pushing you back onto the rail, you constantly chain what we call frame boosts, or kiss the rails, more specifically, to keep on boosting up your speed. And at a certain point, you get so much speed that you just break through the terrain. And you'll have so much speed it will launch you into a death warp, which will take you halfway around the level in this particular situation. So, again, kind of breaking the game, but the game remains remarkably intact throughout the course of an any percent run, I feel.
Yeah, the game's quite robust against our attempts to break it. Like, it has, like, solutions for a lot of the problems we present it.
Yeah, intended or not, they do manage to make us play most of the game. And again, it kind of goes back to how this game is very movement heavy. You can save more time by getting good at the movement in this game than you do with any of the major skips. Cucumber, heli skip, any of that stuff is fantastic, saves you a bunch of time, but you don't need it to get what would be considered a good run. I suppose that's entirely subjective.
Yeah, I mean, generally, like, the goal that a lot of newer runners have is sub 2 hours. And you definitely don't need... I mean, like, I'm a sub 150, like, right now, my PB. And it's like, I didn't need to do heli skip for that, for example. You know, you don't have to do all these crazy things you see the top runners do to get into this game.
Yeah, it's got a lot of different levels that you can play at, and you can just choose the strats that make you most comfortable playing through the game. And for me, I picked up this game actually almost a year ago now, which is crazy. But I've only managed to get a few runs done. My first run was just over 2 hours. My goal was to get under 2 hours, and with the same strats that I got a 2-hour 4-minute run in, I managed to get a 1-hour 58-minute run. I saved 6 minutes of time just by being slightly better at moving through the game.
Yeah, and you got that very recently, didn't you?
Yeah, I got it 2 days ago?
Yeah,
3 days ago?
GG.
I'm very, very happy with that. That was the goal I set out for myself when I picked up the game, was to get an any percent run under 2 hours, and I've done that. And I thought, that's it, I'm done with the game now. you know how it is. You know how speedrunning is.
Yeah. I met my goal. I won't play this anymore unless...
I think I've got the bug now. I wanna hit that 150 now.
So the reason why reverse Kibo works, which is the strat we're doing here, is because the game intends you to go round Kibo in a certain direction. It intends us to go back the way we just came, which means all the death warps take you backwards, back towards the start of the stage, because it's like, oh, you screwed up, you should go back. So you've got to go back towards the start. But we want to go back towards the start, so it's actually beneficial to us now. So we're kind of exploiting that to make our way back through Kibo.
Yeah, and if you're a fan of Death Warp, just wait until you get to the next level of the game.
Oh, baby. Skyscraper District.
So yeah, being able to head back around Kibagawa Hill the way that we came, and finish off the graffiti that we didn't get on our first foray into the level. That's all that.
I have a question to ask, by the way. We can do some donations in a second on the way to Skyscraper, but I would like to know what the status is on the character bid war for the final boss. I'm quite curious.
Yeah, the final boss fight bid war is currently $15 for Korn, and everyone else is at 0.
Wow, cool. That means it's not clutch. Amazing. Let's go.
Oh,
If you really want to
You know
upset
what that
me,
means?
corn.
You know what that means? Exclamation mark donate. Put all your money towards Clutch.
the thing is, right? The thing is, Clutch is like the character we normally use there. I just don't like him. I just don't think he's a good character. He annoys me. Actually, it's not even that. I don't even dislike Clutch. It's just he has the same stats as my favorite character. So I would always rather use her than him, I think.
Yeah, he's just not a
He's just
worthwhile
not.
alternative.
Anyway,
We love Jazz.
shout-outs to Phospho, the biggest Clutch apologist out there.
The single fan of Clutch.
The
in
single
the community,
fan.
I think.
Yeah, we've probably got time for one donation now before we get to Skyscraper. So
Perfect, because we've got one donation here for $5 sitting here from Cowboy Knuckles. Ailis, you're amazing. This goes towards all emeralds. Let's see sparkly pink nucks. Also, that is about $92 away. $82 away from being met. So we might be able to see that after this run.
amazing. Thank you, CBK. CBK is a fellow Nux friend. Runs the same category that I'm going to be maybe running after this, or it may be all emeralds. We'll see what happens. But yeah, she's really cool. Thanks, CBK.
Okay, now we're getting quite significantly through Chapter 4. This is the last major level of Chapter 4. Skyscraper District in Pharaoh Park. And once again, we have to deal with the police before we can do anything else in the level. Much to the lament of some other runners in this game. That's good.
They might split up. Oh, they split up a little bit. And then they went this
They
way.
are mostly behaving themselves. There's always one. There's always one.
Always one cop, yeah.
Again, as we said, there's not like a lot of RNG in this game, but the way that the police move is... doesn't make a whole lot of sense. It's not
No.
very logical. And I'm sure there is some way within the game code that determines what they do, but it's very hard to predict.
Oh yeah, this is the
Also,
actual
Hayashi's back.
Hayashi fight we do, yeah. Shoutouts to
yeah.
him. He tried.
Technically, he's in the Terror Drone, but we're not spraying him directly.
Oh yeah, that's more like, I count that as the Terror Drone rather than Hayashi, you know.
Yeah. So of all the Hayashi fights in the game, that's the one that you have to actually spray him down for. I believe there are a total of 4 where he's out and about and not in a vehicle of some description. We skip one of them in 99th Street because it's not required. We don't have to spray him in Shibuya. We can knock him off the platform in Shuo.
And we just
So
don't
this
do
is the
RDH.
only time we ever...
We don't do RDH either. He's in RDH.
Oh
in the
yeah,
big
he
cop
appears
fight.
in the big cop fight
Yeah.
in RDH that we skip. So there's 5 instances of Hayashi, and we only have to actually spray him down once.
So Death
So this
Warp
is the
time
Skyscraper
starts now.
District. Welcome to Death Warps.
This
the
is
level.
actually health perfect as well. If I take any more damage than I do through these Death Warps, then I need to get extra cans later on for health.
Yeah, so something we haven't really talked about because it's not really much of a part of the run until now is if you run out of health, you die. And in true older game fashion, when you die, it's a game over and you have to reload from your last save.
And we don't save.
Saving is slow, so we don't save. So it is run dead. And that's not a problem at any point in the run except for in this level when we're constantly taking death warps to navigate the level.
Also,
So
there's like
that's-
I swear there's like a rite of passage for new runners in this game, which is realizing that G stamina and regular stamina are different things. When you're
Yeah.
like, oh, my health is fine, I can just keep fighting these guys, no problem. And then they spray your back a load and you die, and you're like, what? What do you mean I died?
Yeah.
Okay, we have failed Funyun, so we're gonna do Onion. This is where I'm glad I didn't bring props. So I had somewhat of an
So,
ambitious plan to eat whatever vegetable we did the trick for, and then I realized that one is called onion, and I would have had to have eaten it right now, so glad I didn't do that.
Yeah, there are 3 variants of that trick. There's onion, funyun, and bunyan.
There's one that you want to eat, and
Differing levels of do not want with the other 2. So yeah, at this point we are 1 hit away from death. One more death warp would kill us here, so we need to be able to pick up some health.
just to scare everyone, we're going to jump across here like this.
There we go. And we're back to full health, and there is no longer the looming threat of death upon Gum.
Yeah, we're just not, like, under threat. Also, I didn't quick turn there, that was annoying. Yeah, we're pretty happy now.
Yeah, so the Skyscraper District, casually, is a huge area. I think it's the biggest area in terms of just sheer size in the game. It's kind of hard to figure out exactly where you need to go at all points. The graffiti is very spread out. There's only 16 tags in this whole area, which, compared to even some of the earlier levels, is under half. But they're so far spread out that knowing exactly where everything is and getting there in a casual run is a pain. Once you've mastered the art of death warps, however, falling into the abyss takes you exactly where you need to be most of the time.
Yeah, this is probably my least favorite death warp, is this one, because you have to get like right off of this corner and then hook around this building. I got it there. But you're very close to not getting it when you get it. You know what I mean? Like, it's very on the edge of what's possible.
Some of the death warps they're based on your like vertical height as well. I think Onion and that one both are, because if you don't land into those death warps high enough, you'll hit a different death warp and you'll be teleported somewhere else.
Yeah, and that one in particular loses a lot of time if you don't get it right.
But that's all the graffiti done.
Also, another death warp.
This level being huge, we get through it relatively quickly when we know where we're going. This is actually an entire out-of-map death warp, which will just take you back to the default starting point of the level, which is right where we need to be.
Yeah, there's a few out-of maps in the game, but I think that's the only one we actually use in any percent.
Technically, Cucumber is an out-of-map.
Oh, I suppose so. Yeah.
So this is the Immortals. These are the kind of the main antagonists of Chapter 4, until they aren't. They're the ones who've been spraying all the graffiti we've been covering up in the areas that we've been to. Then we have to do a Taggers Tag with them. And we did the Taggers Tag with them. And then they decide, we're going to go somewhere else, so you can do a Taggers Tag with us again, but for real this time.
Yeah, it's literally just, we chase them to Highway 0. So like, you spray them a bit and they're like, nah, we're done. And then they go to Highway 0. So we have to chase them. And Highway 0 is the coolest zone that you don't spend any time in any percent, which is really sad.
Yeah, another one of my favorite levels in the game, and we do not experience it in its intended way whatsoever.
Yeah, like you've got like the nighttime stages have like different like color palettes. You've got like the pink in 99th, you've got the blue in Skyscraper, you've got like red in Skydino, and here you got this really nice like neon green going on. It's just you barely spend any time here in any percent.
Yeah, so this is actually a really small level, but it has its own set of graffiti souls, and it has its own set of graffiti later in the game as well. This is our first visit here, and I believe the game intends for you to be able to come here, explore, unlock graffiti souls as normal, but there's actually an oversight in which, in that cutscene you saw Yo-Yo kept in a cage, he actually activates the fight with the Immortals, which is what we're doing now. So we can't actually explore this area until later in the game, and in any percent we don't ever need to come here. So it's unfortunately a bit of a waste of a level for the any percent run.
Yeah, which is unfortunate. Because, I mean, even in 100%, it's not a very long level. So even in 100% where you actually have to come here and do stuff, it's not that much stuff.
It's a nice compact level. I do enjoy it. I also like the individual levels for Highway 0. It's a nice area to move around in, I feel. But yeah, unfortunately, a bit of wasted potential. So we completed Chapter 4. We thought we were rescuing Yo-Yo. We get captured by the noise tanks, who are actually the bad guys all along. Also, we think. And now we are here in Chapter 5, which is affectionately known as Death Ball.
Yeah, so Death Ball is kind of the resident sleeper part of the run. There's a cool strat we're going to try and do in rounds 2 and 3 of Death Ball, but round 1 is just a lap of this thing. The rules of Death Ball are pretty dull. It's literally, you grab this ball and then you have to take it a lap around the map without them taking it off of you, which would be very difficult and cool if the NPCs weren't just really slow and never stood a chance of, like, stopping you. So what we're going to do... Also, we have a 2-minute practice session right now, by the way. We're meant to be practicing playing Death Ball with Jazz, but I'm just going to try and clip out of bounds for the fun of it.
Yeah, so we talked a lot about how the first few levels of the game, pretty much up to the end of Chapter 4, are always trying new things. The level designs are really unique and different. They're introducing all sorts of different mechanics. We have those Taggers Tags, we have the races, we have the flag battles, and then we get to Death Ball, and the game pretty much changes completely. We have this very strange segment where we are forced to do 3 races in a row, which are not engaging at all. Then there's the following sections, which you'll see when we get to them, which it's basically a gauntlet of boss fights with 1 level sprinkled in for flavor in between.
Well, that was close. Did you see that?
And yeah, right now the game decides you need to learn how to play Death Ball.
There we go.
There we go.
Success.
That's not something you see in a run very often. This is a completely useless clip.
Yeah,
but
we're
it's
in
cool.
here now. Isn't this fun? Also, right, so here's a really stupid thing about this. In a minute, Jazz is going to ask us if we want to do another training session. It is the only text box in the game that you want to say no to. Every single other one, you want to hold left to say yes. And I think every single runner at some point has muscle memory into saying yes. And it's another 2-minute wait like this. So they've just lost 2 minutes on their run because they said yes to Jazz. And as much as I love Jazz as a character, she ain't worth it, okay?
Yeah, and it's a shame that you don't unlock Jazz by completing this section of the game. You have to actually come back to this area later to unlock Jazz. If you unlocked her from Death Ball, she would actually be optimal for any percent.
She would be, and that would make me happy.
But no, instead we get stuck with Clutch.
Yeah, they really wanted us to do a lap of this without the Death Ball. Can I get back in bounds? I think I'd like
I think
to.
if you go far enough in one direction, you'll just end up...
I think I can just walk through this wall, can't I? Oh no. Some of these walls are hollow, I'm sure.
Well, there we
Okay,
go. That's
do
our
not
2-minute
say
timer.
do not say yes. Okay, there we go. We have successfully not had to do another 2 minutes of Death Ball practice.
Now instead we are going to get to do a whole lap of this area, which is very stimulating.
Yeah, so the strat we're going to do, you could technically do it in the first phase of the race, but it is slower, so we're not doing it there. But it's to do with the hit points of the characters themselves. You'll see what we mean when we get there.
You'll learn why I affectionately refer to this part of the game instead of as Death Ball as Death or Ball. In the first race, it's Ball. In the second two, it's Death.
It could be ball in the second race if you mess it up.
Yeah, and technically, I think I managed to save 40 seconds in my PB by not going for Death. I chose Ball instead, and it saved me a bunch of time.
Yeah, if you're not so good at the strats we're going to be doing, then it's probably better to just do the lap.
Yeah, as far as strats go in this game, the strats we're about to use are very variable based on execution. You can lose time if you don't do well, and you can save a massive amount of time if you do it near perfectly. But it's very variable. Anything can happen based on how well you execute upon them. So for most newer runners, it's safer just to do the laps and not risk wasting time. But for the more experienced runners, you can go for what we call kill strats, and we'll see those momentarily. But for now, just a nice lap of the future site of the Tokyo Rokkoku Expo Stadium.
Yeah, this is a high-octane gaming right here.
So in terms of like the story that's happening right now, we've been captured by the noise tanks, who are the big bad at the moment. They're trying to take over the streets. And we've come here to the future site of the Rokkoku Expo. Rokkoku is the bad guy. His corporation is funding the police that are chasing us down. We've broken into the stadium that he's going to be using to host his expo to do some races, and the noise tanks are forcing us to do this under threat of death, I think?
Yeah. I think it's implied whoever loses dies, and that's why it's called Death Ball, but... I mean, they don't kill any of the other contestants, so I don't know why they're saying that. These guys are all in the rest of the game, so...
They'll show up later. They
Not
won't
for us, but...
They
yeah.
do show up.
They don't even show up in Hundo. We just don't do them in 100%.
Time for round deuce.
Time for round 2. The Immortals are back.
Yeah, we're actually going to fight them properly this time.
Yeah, it's time for the death part of Death Ball.
Ideally.
Yeah, hopefully. There
Let's
is
see what
a
happens.
little bit of an out-of-bounds clip that we have to do first. See how it goes.
While we're playing Death Ball, do we have time for a few donations? Because we've just had a bunch come through.
Just one sec, because we need to explain this, but we might have a chance afterwards. Yeah,
Oh,
cool, right.
nice,
So we got
good.
it. So we're out of
That's all
bounds.
good.
And they want the ball, so they're running up against the wall right now. So if I throw the ball over here, they can't get the ball, and they're really confused, and they're just going to stand here. Now, this is important because Immortals are tied for the lowest hit points in the game with the Love Shockers, who just so happen to be the other skate gang we're going to be racing in Death Ball. So it is faster to beat these guys to death than it is to actually engage in the sport. So we're basically going to be nudging them to death right now. This isn't so optimal, so it probably won't save any time, but it's cool to show it off, and it has the chance to be faster. Anyway, while I'm nudging these guys, yeah, we can do some donations.
Awesome stuff. We have $10 from AceBat saying, absolutely love this game. I used to play it all the time on my Sony PlayStation. Good luck with Deathball and shout outs to Zamuki. Yeah, I saw that as soon as I read it. We have $5 from Twinkachu saying shout outs to Ailis and Ekla. We have $5 from Roadkill Revenge saying great running commentary. Let's get that Knuckles upgrade. And last but not least, $40 from Raikou Rider, who says props to the SDAT team for producing one of the most stacked marathon schedules I've ever seen. Put this towards Moosh for the ZMZ3 randomizer run. Oh, and one more thing, save the children and kill the animals. Speaking of the Sonic 3 and K All Emeralds upgrade, we are $32 away from that.
Nearly there.
And we have an update for the character for final boss fight. Corn's still at $15, but Combo is now on $20.
Combo, let's go.
Let's go, Combo.
Oh, I don't know how it's going to go with Combo. We're going to try our best. So, for added entertainment value, I haven't practiced with the other characters, so we're going to see what happens. It'll be the funny kind of mistake if anything goes wrong, don't worry. I wouldn't...
Yeah, fortunately, we can't entirely kill our run in the final boss.
I wouldn't risk the integrity of the run, don't worry. But it will be quite funny to watch me try and use characters that aren't gum for that, so... Also, shoutouts to Acebats and Zaikumi. Acebats saying... And Twinkachi, yeah. Oh, yeah, because Acebats said Zaikumi. Zaikumi didn't donate. Oh, I'm getting so confused. But shoutouts to Zaikumi anyway.
Zaikumi. Yeah, we have really
I didn't move them
community.
over far enough. This is going to be very slow. You need to get in that corner, and I need to move you more over this way. This is very slow.
We have a very tight-knit community here in the JSRF speedrunning community. Everyone gets along very nicely. We have a lot of in-jokes, as you may have been able to tell.
Yeah, everyone shouts out Zaikumi.
Yeah, and it's good to see you all showing up for this run.
Yeah, shout out to Twinkachu as well. Sorry, I completely forgot you, Twinkachu. Too busy doing the Zaikumi meme. This is a very slow death strat. I think this is probably worse than doing a lap, but I got too excited.
Out like this, it's rough.
Yeah, I got too excited and didn't lure them in enough. I could have avoided this, but I just threw the ball really quickly.
Even then, shouldn't really be losing too terribly much time.
It's probably equal to doing a lap, to be honest, because I've been quite good at getting the hits.
Yeah, sometimes they decide they're just not going to take damage, which is very frustrating.
Yeah, that's very annoying. I don't think I got many cans. I hope I have enough Terror Drone.
And at this point, who knew that breaking into a facility owned by the Big Bad would result in the Big Bad appearing?
Yeah, I mean, it's literally got his name on it. I don't know why we thought this was a good idea.
And guess who's back once more for the final time?
Yeah, the last one, and it's his like swan song cutscene, because this cutscene is long. He spends a lot of time talking.
Yeah, I believe this cutscene is actually slightly faster in English, and the English dialogue is very funny. The difference between Japanese Hayashi and English Hayashi is wild.
Yeah, I personally prefer English Hayashi, but I get the people that prefer Japanese Hayashi. Japanese Hayashi is very like manic. Whereas English Hayashi is just kind of, what is going on? I don't even know what kind of direction they were taking that character. He just kind of is his own thing.
He's very stressed out, very erratic.
He sounds like, you know, he doesn't really get any downtime. He doesn't get any, like, me time, you know?
Yeah, he didn't get his breakfast.
He didn't get his breakfast this morning. Oh, well. Okay, jump up here, and then try not to go on the grind rail. Oh, really good. Okay, cool. I'm really bad at this Terror Drone fight, so... Donut time.
So
got it.
Yeah, Terror Drone got upgraded from its encounter in Hikage Street. It got a big laser that it never got to use. And just like that, it's done.
Easy peasy. Yeah, if you don't get the top section of that Terror Drone while it's on the ground, it's surprisingly annoying to get it from the bottom, because you have to grind up its legs, but they don't put you on the right rail to get to the center bit, so you kind of have to jump off and hope that you get the right angle. It's very annoying.
Yeah, there are a lot of instances of that in the game, particularly with the Terror Drone, of if you get it the first time, it feels great, and every subsequent time is a lot harder.
I just realized I'm going to have to do Zero Boot with combo. It's not even the final boss that I'm worrying about, it's Zero Boot fight.
Yeah, that might actually be harder. So again, in keeping with the theme of the game completely changing after Chapter 4, Instead of going back to exploring Tokyo-to and spraying graffiti, instead there are a bunch of noise tanks around that we now have to remove from the streets of Tokyo-to.
Yeah, even though we never had like a proper set of things to do in Highway Zero, we only really have a boss fight in Sky Dino, which we'll see soon. Like, no, noise tanks in the existing areas. That's what the game needs. Definitely.
Yeah, and there is our last graffiti soul of the game, which was actually the first one we unlocked, and the only one we unlocked. It's the Dogenzaka Hill Air 3.
Slow
We
down a
got
bit too
right at the
much.
beginning of the run. So kind of a bookend there. And we needed 40 in total by the end of this section that we're doing now, which means picking up 20 over the course of the run because you start with 20. And that satisfies a certain individual who'll be showing up later so that we can proceed with the game.
Yeah. Everyone's
Unfortunately-
least favorite character except Phosphor Hydro.
Yeah. And then unfortunately this section is very much just this. Just running into a bunch of noise tanks. Not the most interesting part of the game.
Yeah, I know we just had some. If there's any donations for this noise tank bit, I'm not going to have anything to say for a little while on it, so...
We do have a donation here sitting from Jammy Pat for $5.50 saying hot girl moments. Funnily enough,
Thanks, Jammy.
Jammy Pat put that towards Corn, and Corn is now ahead by 50 cents.
Corn is
So
the
if anyone
hottest
has
girl.
a dollar,
It's true.
if anyone has a dollar and they want combo, you know,
Oh,
might want to start putting
Corn
towards it.
enthusiast, Jammy Pat.
yeah. Shout out to Jammy. Jammy's another runner of this game. Really
We
cool
all have
person.
our own slight preferences when it comes to characters.
Yeah, and if it's not Jazz, then it's wrong.
I like Rith a lot.
Oh, Rit's cool actually. Yeah, there's some cool characters. I
All
like
the
I like
characters that we
Yo-Yo
just
as
don't get to
well.
see.
I know it's like a basic opinion, but I do really like Yo-Yo. Yo-Yo is a
Yeah,
cool
unfortunately we
character.
don't get to see too many of the characters that you can actually unlock in this
Oh,
game.
I wanted those cans, but it's too late now.
I believe it's 12 characters that you unlock during the main game. Well, you start with 3, so 9, I suppose, you unlock over the course of the game through different means. And then there's another 12 that you unlock by completing the individual levels at the end of the game. And unfortunately, in any percent, we unlock Beat because we have to, we unlock Combo because we have to, we skip Garam even though we're supposed to unlock him, and then everything else is optional, I believe.
Yeah, I think so. So
So we don't get to see Rith or Soda or Cube or Boogie.
the list of characters I gave for this incentive was all the ones we have available at this point of any percent except for Beat. So I'm pretty sure it's Yo-Yo, Corn, Gum, Combo, Clutch, and then you get Beat as well. I'm pretty sure
Yeah,
they're the
sounds about
essential
right.
ones.
And in terms of like playing as different characters, you'll see that we play as Gum for the most of the run. She has the highest cornering stat of any character that we can get over the course of the run, and cornering just helps with precision movement and pulling off certain skips. We start the game with Yo-Yo, and we don't get prompted to change character until Chapter 2, so we just go through as Yo-Yo because we don't want to go out of our way to change character. He's not too terrible to play as. He actually sprays graffiti a little faster than Gum, which can be helpful in certain points. But then we lose access to Yo-Yo as of Chapter 4, so we can't actually play him. Fortunately, optional character that we don't unlock, Rith, has the exact same stats as Yo-Yo, so if you're particularly fond of playing Yo-Yo, you can unlock Rith and play as her. And then we have Korn, who we see in some runs as a quick character switch in certain levels when we need to do that.
In fact, we will see that in this run.
Yeah, we will.
We'll
for
have
a
brief Korn
tiny
content.
tiny little time. And
Oh, I went the wrong way. It's fine.
Korn has some pretty decent stats. Perfectly serviceable, not as good as Gum, but absolutely fine, really, for the most part. The sad thing is, Beat has the identical same stats as Korn, and they give you Beat at the very first level of the game, which makes no sense to me.
Yeah, it's kind of weird how like some of them work. And then like
So,
Garam and
yeah.
Boogie have like identical
Yeah, Garam
stats
and
as
Boogie,
well,
they
but
also have-
they're not like hugely apart from each other in the run, are they? Like, I guess like Sewers and Bottom Point, but then you can get Boogie like straight away in Chapter 4 if you really want to.
Yeah, and for the most part, stats don't matter too terribly much in this game. The ones that really stand out in terms of a speedrun are the cornering stat, as we talked about, the graffiti stat, which Yo-Yo has the best of all the characters, along with Rith, that we unlock over the course of the any percent run or in full game 100% runs. Pretty much every other stat doesn't matter all that much. Grind magnetism can be a little annoying.
It's just
Yo-Yo
annoying,
has really high grind magnetism, so he clips to rails easier. So if you're not particularly used to playing as Yo-Yo, you might clip onto a rail you don't want to clip onto. Speaking of clips,
Yeah, this wall just isn't.
it's not as robustly put together as some of the other structures in the game.
I'm gonna grab cans because this next fight scares me. This next fight can lose a lot of time if it goes wrong, so I'm gonna concentrate for this. I'll let Echo explain what's going on.
Right, so we've defeated the noise tanks rampaging through the streets of Tokyo-to, by which we mean dancing. And now we need to beat the head honcho of the noise tanks, which is apparently Yo-Yo. He wasn't kidnapped, he was in charge the whole time, and that's how we got kidnapped and taken into Deathball. So we come to this area of the game, Sky Dinosaurian Square, which visually looks fantastic. Playing it, however, is similar to Skyscraper District. There is no floor. Most of your navigation through this level is going to be on rails, which in itself is a challenge.
Yeah.
However, we do have to now fight the noise tanks in a tagger's tag, similar to how we fought Poison Jam previously. The precision that goes into doing this fight quickly is pretty menacing.
Yeah, my first PB had a really bad fight here. My second PB had a good one, and I saved 4.5 minutes.
I lost 1.5 minutes to this fight in my PB. Because when it goes wrong, it really does go wrong. Normally, when you're playing through this level outside of this fight, there are different death warps similar to STPP, the Skyscraper District.
No, okay, this is bad. I'm not going to be low on cans now, because this guy's going to steal all of these. I was one spray off getting him.
That's so unfortunate.
I can still get this guy, maybe. Oh, he went too fast.
Being on the outer rail here just slows you down ever so slightly.
Yeah, and they heal each other. Like,
yeah, this is what I mean. Is like when one tiny little thing goes wrong, you miss that spray not even by a can.
oh, and I missed the rail. This is bad. Okay. And now I'm back
Yeah,
here.
so when you're spraying enemies, it doesn't go can by can. It actually goes by the amount of time you spend spraying, and a stat that actually does make a difference that I forgot to talk about is spray speed, graffiti spray speed. Particularly when you're spraying opponents, you can spray faster or slower, and actually spraying slower is more efficient. But we don't have any characters that can spray slower at this stage of the game, so we have to use Gum, who has pretty much the standard spray speed. Faster spray speed characters are detrimental because you burn through more cans for the same amount of time, which means you need more cans to fight your opponents. And what basically happened to Ailis there is she was spraying down the first noise tank and missed it by just a pixel of health. And that noise tank got away, stole the cans that we needed to continue the fight with, and then you ended up on the outside of the rail, which is ever so slightly slower than the inner rail in that particular part, which meant you couldn't catch up to the other one to spray it down. It just all kind of dominoes out of control in this fight.
I got one of
you can
them.
lose a lot of time.
I hope I'm on the right rail for the cans. I think I am.
I think so, yeah.
No,
And,
I'm
yeah,
on the
kind
wrong
of
one for the cans.
Oh, no.
So
Kind of as I
it's
was
gonna
saying
slow.
earlier about death warps, is when you're playing through this level normally, there's a bunch of different death warps that take you to different parts of the level. In the Tagger's Tag in specific, you only ever get death warp to the start of the level. So if you fall off the rail, you need to start the entire lap again. The noise tanks will wait halfway around.
We got there. Ooh, that was annoying.
We got through it. Yeah, that is... it's kind of one of the last major parts of the run where things can go horribly, horribly wrong. Everything else following this is... It's still relatively punishing, but not in the same degree as this.
Yeah, that's a shame. Like, other than PJ, that was quite a solid run up until this point, but noise tanks, what are you going to do? It happens sometimes.
Yeah, just a little bit of solidarity between the two of us here, losing a bunch of time in the noise tanks tag.
Yeah, it's just that one spray. If I got that one spray, I would have been absolutely fine. But
yep, if that one tiny spray at the very beginning had gone your way, that fight would have been a minute quicker.
That other tank took all my cans, basically.
But fortunately, that's kind of the worst part of the game out of the way. I think Chapter 4 through to noise tanks is the hardest, and then you have one last hurrah for actual levels in the game, which we're going to go to next, and a bunch of boss fights.
Yeah, so that was Clutch. We don't like him, he's a jerk.
Yeah, he stole our graffiti souls.
Yeah, what a jerk.
This is why you need 40 coming into this point of the game, so that he can steal them and run away.
Yeah, and then we can go get them back from him immediately after.
Also, we get to see Korn. It's
Oh, I need
slightly,
cans. No, actually, it's
slightly
fine.
more efficient here to to switch to Korn at the beginning of the chapter, since we're not doing any significant movement with him, moving over to where we need to be going next, because we're going to be doing a character switch in just a minute, we can switch back to Gum and have her preferable stats for the next level of the game.
Yeah, because there's a cop fight we need to despawn, basically. Usually you can't do stuff like this during a cop fight, but this is, like, during this chapter there's a bunch of, like, I want to call them, like, ambient cop encounters. Like, they're not dedicated cop fights. They just spawn in on the world and don't change how the world functions.
Yeah, they pretty much just put them there to push you in the right direction. If you go anywhere other than where you're supposed to be going, you'll get a bunch of cop fights. At this point, Clutch is supposed to move around the map a lot, but we usually just get straight here and talk to him before he moves anywhere, so we don't have to chase him around. But yeah, they kind of just throw a bunch of cop fights in your way to make sure you're on the right path, but also to inconvenience you. So it's kind of mixed messages from the game. But yeah, we chase Clutch down. He's like, okay, I'm sorry. He joins us, and we can head off to the last full level of the game.
Yeah,
and one of my favorite cutscenes as well.
One of my favorite levels, to be honest. I really like FRZ. Especially in Hundo. The Hundo route for this is very good.
Yeah, the interesting thing about FRZ is the first time you come here, as we have exposition, you're basically locked into one big timed event. And it really steps up the pace of the game. I really like this part of the game in isolation. I just think it really kind of injects a sense of urgency that the game was kind of lacking before.
Yeah, it's just for a speedrunner, it's not really enough time to make you feel nervous at all.
Yeah, but
you
I
have a
remember
30-minute
playing
timer.
casually. I was kind of worried about this 30-minute timer. This is a very big, very vertical level that's quite punishing if you fall down. Playing it casually was kind of scary.
Went for the ladder jump. I love ladder jump.
I hate ladder jump.
I love it, but it's so difficult. And it saves like no time.
Right at the top of that ladder, you get up to the next ladder, and it saves you a second or two. Which, in the context of navigating through FRZ in a regular speedrun, not really that much time for a relatively precise trick. If, however, you're like me and you decide to do the ILs for this level, ladder jump becomes incredibly important.
I may have been sloppy so far. Maybe I will need half an hour. We'll see. It's like a 5-minute split usually, right? Like, it's not that long.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, once you get halfway through the level, it restarts another 30-minute timer.
Yeah, that's also true. It's technically an hour if you really want to space it out.
Yeah. I liked the idea that they were going for, especially as it starts to play the title theme in this level for the first time in the game. It kind of feels like you're approaching the climax of the game, which you are. I think it was a pretty good set piece in the game overall. But yeah, it took you about a minute to spray all those devices instead of 30.
So story time. One time, me and another runner called Seventh Ace were doing impressions of Gilbert Gottfried saying this dialogue, and it made Nestrinus laugh so much that he died in Skyscraper District. So if you ever want to win a race, that's how. That was not a good jump. Okay,
that is unfortunately not world record jump.
It is not. That was the worst possible attempt I could have made at world record jump. But it's fine, I tried it, you know?
Yeah. Fortunately, for this stage of the game, and surprisingly, you don't lose a whole lot of time for missing that jump.
Oh, what have I done?
Most of the stuff...
Oh, that was interesting.
Fine. Yeah, most of the kind of time-savey stuff that happens in the later stages of the game can be quite punishing to mess it up, and you don't save a whole lot of time. Fortunately, world record jump saves you a couple of seconds by getting to a platform that's further up, but you don't lose too much time for not getting it.
Yeah, and it's just worth trying, you know?
Yeah, you can always go for it. I got it in my PB, actually.
Oh, nice.
I felt good about. This one is a little bit more punishing if you don't get it, but...
it's not too bad, though, yeah.
If you fall down there, you basically have to go back up the staircase and
it's one of those,
around.
I was going to say, it's one of those intimidating tricks where it's like, it's not hard, but because you know how much time you lose if you don't get it, it's like, oh, do I go for this? Like...
Yeah, FRZ is full of those.
Like that, for example. Not difficult, but it sure is scary.
Yeah, so the tension does rise a little bit in this part of the game. And we see they sent some golden rhinos out, some guys with guns to try and deal with us because the tanks didn't work. I always forget to jump here.
Yeah, same. Okay, well, that didn't work.
There we go. One more switch to go. And we've done it. We've disabled the bomb that was threatening to blow up this entire building. Pretty excessive, really. The story reason that we're here is that Yo-Yo is being kept here. That's what Clutch tells us. So we're here to save Yo-Yo, and the Golden Rhinos, who've been hired by Rokoku Goji, decide the best way to deal with two kids on skates is to blow up this entire residential zone, with people living in it. Ah, that was very, very nice. Well done, Ailis.
That jump, I don't find it too difficult, but it's very... Oh, no. No!
Oh,
what have I done?
Shouldn't have said a word. That's my fault.
Well, that's
the FRZ experience.
That's the easy jump that I shouldn't make a mistake on. But apparently I can get the stupid hard stuff that makes no sense. All right, I'm not going to tempt fate this time, game. You win. I'm doing it the easy way. We're going up the slow way, okay? Is this what you wanted, JSRF?
That jump saves you a second.
Is this what you wanted from me, Sega? Apparently it was. There we go.
So time for some more escalation. Because blowing up the building wasn't enough. Here are some jets. 4 of them, in fact. Coming in, crashing through the ceiling to deal with you.
And if you believe us, but they're not done escalating after this either. This is not the peak.
Oh, would you look at that? 2 of the jets disappeared. What happened?
Oh, whoops. So you can... What I was trying to do there was stay on top of one of the jets.
This fight is...
Don't die, don't die, don't die, don't die, don't die. Oh. Oh, I'm 1 hit away from death. I just want to not die. If not, I'll just have to load a quick save or something. Oh, we're fine. I don't think you can take damage after the yo-yo cutscene. So
I'm not sure how that works, but it's scary to see.
Okay,
yeah,
right.
For
it's
some reason,
time.
there's just that 1 second where you can get hit by stuff after completing the fight, which is really mean.
We're fine though. We're fine. It's all good. It's all good. Look, we're in Shibuya. Wouldn't be in Shibuya if we were dead, would we?
Time to head back out to some areas that we've already seen for some boss fights.
Oh wait, I didn't want to do that
Rhinos.
second boost actually. I need more cans in this. Where are cans? Here. Here are cans.
Yeah, so the Golden Rhinos have decided that the guys with guns weren't enough, so they're sending out some of the lieutenants to deal with us, and we're going to meet them in the battlefield, which in this case is Chuo Street. So you'll notice actually at this point of the game, some new graffiti has appeared. Even though we completed all the graffiti in these areas before, some more graffiti has been added. And that's stuff that's not required for progression. But we do spray that in the 100% and 100% no post-game categories.
Yeah. It's been so long since I've done them, I really want to do them again. Need to do more MPG.
Yeah, they're a good time. It's really good to see everything that the game has to offer. Any percent is speedy, and there's a lot of precise and impressive speed tech involved, but it's cool to see everything that the game can offer us. So this is the claw guy.
I call him
He's
grabbers.
one of the Golden Rhinos.
He's got grabbers.
He does have
He's
grabbers.
trying to grab
yeah.
you.
And this is a relatively straightforward
Oh
fight.
no!
You just have to knock him down and spray him. Requires a boost to do so.
This might be a bit close. Yeah, bad management time.
Yeah,
There we
you'll
go,
notice
we're fine.
actually with fights like this, in the later stages of the game, the enemies get up a lot quicker, and they often require a lot more cans to spray down. So they're a lot harder than the regular police officers that we were fighting right at the beginning of the game. Fortunately, we got rid of him, and escalation once more. The jets are back. He failed in his mission and is no more. But yeah, actually one of the reasons we switched to Clutch here for the very late stages of the game is what I was talking about earlier about the spray speed. He has slower than average spray speed, which means he uses less cans to spray down enemies, which is really counterintuitive, but it works, because we're going to be fighting a lot of bosses with a lot of health, and keeping hold of our cans is going to be really, really important. He also holds 5 more cans than the average character, for a maximum of 35. So he is just perfectly designed for fighting all these bosses that we're coming up to. And the rest of his stats really are serviceable. He doesn't have terrible cornering, which is the one that you notice the most when you're moving around in the game. He has better cornering than Yo-Yo, who we start the game with, but worse than Gun. So it's a little bit of a downgrade from what we've done most of the run on, but it's fine.
Yeah. The character that shares stats with him is Jazz, who is my favorite character, personally. But
Also mine.
we don't pick her up in... oh, okay. Frame boost. Was not expecting
Nice.
that. So we don't pick her up in any percent, but in 100% and similar categories, any category that gets all the characters, basically, Jazz is optimal just because she's a tiny bit faster to menu 2.
Yep, one single input faster than Clutch. But unfortunately, yeah, we have to go out of our way to return to the Rococo Expo Stadium, which is actually just off of 99th Street here. And we have to do a race with her, which takes a minute. And just all the travel that's involved is much more time lost than the one input saves, unfortunately.
Yeah, but in a run where you'd already have her for whatever reason, she is the optimal choice.
Yes.
And even if she wasn't, I'd still pick her. Sorry, not sorry.
That's fair. That's fair. She is the best character.
She is.
Love her. She's actually one of the few characters that was new to this game as opposed to Jet Set Radio, Clutch being another one of them. Most of the others are returning characters from Jet Set Radio. Some of them had some name changes, they all had little design changes, but I believe Jazz and Clutch were completely new to this game.
Yeah, yeah.
And Jazz was a good choice on the part of the developers. Shame we only get to see her for that 2 minutes in Death Ball.
Right, into Highway 0.
Yeah, so we finally get
Oh,
to
I missed the
now
rail. Interesting.
maybe an hour, a bit less than an hour, maybe like 50, 45 minutes later into the run from when we initially got to Highway 0, we're able to return here and actually explore freely, which we don't do in any percent.
No, we just
head
fight her
straight
and
here
leave.
for Flame Chick, or Flamethrower, or I don't know really what her official name is.
It's got everything,
Flames.
though. It's got a really short, fun graffiti route. It's got really cool like aesthetics. It's got Squidward tentacles. It's got everything you could possibly need in a zone.
Yeah, it does in fact have all of those things. Shout outs to Soda. These Squidward tentacles.
I know
are
no
very
soda. I only
feature.
know Squidward.
You've given me an idea.
Oh no. Incoming character texture mod.
See, I'm not very good at running this game, but one thing I am pretty good at is modifying textures. So I'll take what I can get. So yeah, that's the other Golden Rhino Lieutenant taken care of. And at this point, DJ Professor K has been our guide throughout this game, over the radio, kind of the main exposition throughout the game, even though we skip his cutscenes. And he is now being kidnapped by the Golden Rhinos. They will stop at nothing to stop us from doing what we're doing, which is, again, just spraying graffiti.
They
But
quite
no, they're going to
conveniently-
kidnap a radio host.
They quite conveniently took his whole radio setup with them as well,
Yeah.
so that he could still broadcast the music we're listening to.
You see, my theory is he's actually in on the whole thing. And
think?
He's been pushing us in these directions because that's exactly where all the enemies have been in the first place, but maybe that's a discussion for a different time. Slightly different way to get that death wall this time. You can hop on top of the wall instead of flipping through it.
Yeah, it's just like slightly faster to do that from coming from Highway 0 than it is to line up and do the wall clip, because the wall clip is like surprisingly like tight to stay in that line, and if you go too far to one direction, you'll just pop out of it. So if you can't line up straight with it like you would do from 99th Street, it's a bit harder.
Okay, time for the third to last boss of the game.
Yeah, so
The
by the way,
train.
this train is, once we're done with this train fight, it's the cutoff point for character selection for the boss. So once I've killed the train, that is when I would like to know what character we're playing in the next act.
All right. Well, so far, Combo is currently in the lead by $9.50.
Oh,
It's been
Combo.
a very, very tight battle. It's been back and forth. If anyone on Team Corn has $10, they can snatch it out right before the end of the fight.
So this is the train.
It's a train.
It is a train. I know what you're
This
thinking.
fight is quite
Trains don't look like
literally
this
on
in real
rails.
life. Oh my god, Ekla. Boo. Boo.
Yeah, so it's a train. We have to spray it with graffiti. It's not the most inventive of fights, and also it's very slow if you make a single mistake, similar to noise tanks.
Did somebody say train?
Yes,
I
CJ.
did.
Do it. I love it. I love it so much.
Could not have been more perfect.
It's a good thing I practiced this today, because this is a hard fight, and I really wanted to be able to do it with the train whistle sounding. There we go. Right, train is
Perfect.
done. So
Very
that is
good
the
train
cutoff. I would like to know, Did
We're
Korn
playing
get a
his
last
combo.
minute? We're playing his combo. Let's go. Right.
Playing his combo
Excellent.
team Cord, I'm so sorry.
Remind me not to spam the A button like I normally do, because otherwise we'll end up playing clutch.
Reminder to not spam the A button.
Okay, I'm
Yeah,
not spamming.
please-
I'm
please
playing
don't
on one
do
of
that.
these, by the way, one of the big fat Duke controllers, and it's very hard to spam buttons on this, so... The odds of it actually registering my A presses are pretty slim anyway. I lose like so much time in the garage split just to mashing, because it's so hard to do on this controller. Combo, here he is.
There he is. I lied earlier when I said we wouldn't see him again. If only I'd
Oh
known.
god, his cornering is so bad.
Yep.
Oh
So,
no.
We were
This
talking
is
earlier
awful.
about how cornering is the stat you
Oh
notice the most.
dear.
Combo has the lowest cornering stat of any character we can unlock over the course of the main game.
God, how am I going to fight Rukaku like this? Oh, okay, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be fun.
Has to be done.
Has to be done. Charity.
So at this point, we have 2 more boss fights before the end of the game. The big bad, he'll be waiting for us, but before that we have to deal with his wonderful children, so to speak. I mean, that's what he calls them.
Yeah.
Zero Beat. And this is another tag encounter.
He calls them cute.
Yeah, Kawaii Muskotachi.
Kawaii
I believe.
Muskotachi. Zero Bito. You'll hear him say that literally any minute now. I've heard him say it so many times.
Yeah, this is the longest cutscene I feel like that we have to watch.
Yeah.
Apart from maybe the Hayashi Terradrome one?
Yeah, Hayashi Terradrome is probably the longest, but this is pretty long. Like,
This one
there
is
is
very long on English.
there is a DJK cutscene that we skip as part of the mod that is like twice as long as this. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, and it's right at the start of the run. It's just like, I don't want to start the run with watching that every single time.
Oh no, I mean like the first half of this one after train fight.
Oh yeah, that's really long as well. I forget
Yeah,
that
yeah, yeah.
exists. Thank you, cutscene skip. Yeah, and this is another reason we play on Japanese. It does make some tricks harder because of the dialogue being faster. Heli skip is one of them, but it also saves so much time in this cutscene that we have to watch. But now
Okay.
we have Tag with 0 beats.
Come on, Combo. Do me proud.
I believe
Oh
you
no,
can
Combo. This is not doing me proud. Okay.
It's okay. We got charity railing coming. Go for that.
No, it's fine. We're gonna try this. No, we're nowhere near him. Okay,
Ambitious.
okay. I tried. Oh,
Charity rail it is.
yeah.
Also, yeah, that thing I was saying earlier about spray speed and can efficiency
What am I doing?
in these boss fights.
Oh god. I'm getting
Combo
real
has
nervous
your
now.
regular.
Combo, no, go to the right. Okay.
Combo has
okay.
poor cornering and regular spray stats and less cans than clutch. So this is harder in 3 different ways.
Okay. Come on, Combo. Where's that 0 beat going? What?
Oh no, you've broken him.
Okay, this is a clown race now. Oh god, I need these cans. Please give me the cans. No, Combo, you didn't pick up the cans. Did you even do your combo challenge?
It's kind of fitting, really, that,
Come
that we're
on.
doing this fight as combos, since this is his turf.
Yeah, he wants to protect it from the 0 beats. Wants to
First
being
Poison Jam showed up.
the premier word here because he's trying his best, but
Yeah, he's a little out of practice. He's
where's
not done
the other
anything
one
in-
even gone?
He's not done anything
He's
in
back
like an
this
hour
way.
and a half.
What? Oh, he's up. What? Did you see that? I think he's up here.
This is new. This is kind
Where
of a
is the
throwback to when we were
0
talking
beat?
about the Poison Jam fight when the AI broke there. It is very delicate, and if you ever so
Where's it
slightly
going?
bonk these people, they just completely change their course.
Where is he? He's all the way over there now. Okay, I think he's back on his normal track now. Okay, that's fine.
It looks like it. Hopefully he's behaving himself.
This is your money at work here, everyone. Thank you so much for this. Really appreciate your patronage.
Things we do for charity.
Yeah.
Is
Okay,
this
he's on the
a,
right path now. He hasn't gone the wrong way this time.
Was that a this has never happened before moment?
Yeah, I mean, playing combo here, I've never done before either, so... Okay, we did it. We got through.
Yeah.
PB is off the table. Somehow I thought it
Even-
would be with combo at the end.
Even casually, I don't think I've ever played as combo in this fight, because even casually, combo is relatively unpleasant to play as.
Yeah, as much as we love him as a character, he's not very good.
He has
Oh,
the
the
most health.
cornering stats are so bad.
Yeah, he has the most health, which is kind of the appeal for perhaps casual players in areas.
No,
where
he
you
doesn't
don't
even
take
have the
damage.
most.
He does of all the characters you unlock over the course of the
Oh, yeah, the base game, yeah. But Goji has more health and worse cornering, somehow.
Yeah, I mean, they made combo and then they were like, this isn't bad enough. So they made
Yeah, let's
Goji.
make worse combo. Okay. No more drama, please.
Well, I'm very excited to see how Goji's tower goes as combo. So yes, we defeat Zero Beat, and Goji decides to deal with things personally instead of sending other people to do his business.
Oof. Yeah, so the game has escalated at this point, okay? It doesn't get much crazier than what's about to happen. Okay, we finally reached the peak of insanity of this game. We're there.
After everything that had happened in this game, I was prepared for anything.
Yeah.
Until I saw this for the first time.
Yeah.
I was not prepared for this.
Yeah, when you sit down, you think, oh, cool, it's like a cel-shaded, funky game about, like, roller skates. That's kind of cool. You don't expect it to end up in the Hell Dimension, fighting a giant robot man,
Yeah.
having enslaved all of humanity in Shibuya Terminal.
It really got wild. Like, this
Okay,
game...
Combo, do me proud, come on.
I believe in you, Combo.
You don't have to
this
turn
game
here, so I
really
think it's fine.
does escalate, not just in terms of the encounters that you face, but also in terms of the narrative pacing. Things get really hectic in the late stages of the game. You just keep going from place to place to place and fighting a bunch of bosses, and there's not really enough time for the game to explain everything.
So you have to, like, boost that guy twice in order to... Oh, wow, that was kind of handy.
Nice.
Am I where I want to be? Oh, I am. Nice, that's cool. Let's go. Oh, but these guys are on me now. No, get off me. Oh, let me on the rail,
So
please.
you have to do this climb twice. You need to be able to boost into Akamu, as he is called in this form, twice before you can start to spray him.
Yeah, so normally we'd get one spray, come back down, stock up, and then go back up. Because we're not clutch. We don't have 35 cans. Which means we need to... knock off both the armor pieces first and then get close enough to him while he's stood up. Oh, this is very awkward. Okay, this is better now. Just need to get, like, far enough away that you can spray him without him hitting you, and then you're pretty safe. And time
This
is...
goes a lot slower.
Now, time.
GG.
Oh, well, other than the ending, that was pretty smooth.
Well, I think that's the first time I've ever seen someone complete the game as combos, so
I
congratulations.
think Suprix did it. I think when Suprix did this before, Combo won out in that one as well. I don't think I did it as well as Suprix did.
Well, 1 hour 51 is a solid time, including combo.
Yeah, not
Proud
too
of
bad. Out of interest, in RTA, what was that?
That was, according to CC, 1:45:41.
Ooh, smashed the estimate. That's pretty good.
you. Yeah, it's the power of skipping cutscenes.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
you did great. Do you want me to read out some donations before we go? Because there's quite a few that came in at the end.
Oh, let's do it then. Let's hear him.
All right, we have $5 from AceBat saying, had to donate some more for that S3 and K upgrade, which, by the way, we hit it.
Oh, let's go.
For the Ailis,
Yeah.
for the Ailis Nooner Nation. Also, Combo is the best character in the game, so let's see him for the final boss, which we did. We have 2251 from The Only Kid. What's
Kid.
better than an Ailis double feature? A long Ailis double feature. Fun fact about Ailis, she's an IRL superhero who saves lives. That is a
Aw.
true fact. Fun fact about Knuckles, he saves lives better than Sonic. Fun fact about this marathon, we're here to save the children. No, I won't turn down the cheese. We have $5 from CJ, it's all good. Really happy I got
CJ.
to meet Ailis because she's one of the bad beach. I'm so happy she's here for SDAT 2021.
Oh, thank you, CJ.
Thank you for running, and let's get to $2,800. CJ, I think that might have been a bit of a slight error because we're currently at $48.33. We have $5 here from Daft7 saying, dang it, Bats, that was for the bid war. $5 from Jammy Pat saying, hottest girl moment, praise Jehovah. and finally, we have $20 from 7th Ace saying, what up, kid? Shout out to the wonderful JSRF community. Also, massive shout out to 7th Ace for the raid earlier.
Thank you so much, guys. Yeah, I mean, shout outs to, like, you know, Daft, Ace Bats, Twinkachu, 7th Ace, Jammy Pat, anyone else who donated. I can't remember. I think that's all the donators from the JSRF community. But then also Ekla being here with me on comms. Phospho for putting up with me mentioning him liking Clutch all the time. Just like everyone in the community is amazing. And also, thank you very much to Kid for that donation, who is going to be one of my commentators on the next run. So, yeah, thanks so much, everyone. The support's amazing, honestly. Thanks for being here.
Awesome. Awesome stuff. That will be it for this run. Stay tight. We're going to head to a quick intermission before Sonic 3 and Knuckles. So I'll see you in just a quick second.